So I'm Bruce Gilson. I want to welcome you back to another segment of our Knowledge Basics. Today we're going to be talking about the software side of LED video walls. So you're going to, on your laptop, you want to make sure that you download the Novastar LCT software. It's on their website. You can go grab it there under their downloads. They use the same software to talk to all different types of controllers. So you don't need to stress out about making sure that you have the right software for the right controller. It's all one software. Once you get that and you download it and install it, then you can jump into where we are today. I've already got the software opened up on my computer. I'm talking to a VX600 today. Whatever controller you have, they're all the same on the software side of things. So that doesn't necessarily matter. The VX600 does have 6 ports of data. That's going to play into a little bit later in the video. You might have one that has 16 ports or 8 ports or 2 ports, which we also have a 2-port controller that's actually currently driving the wall right now. So once you get into the software, it should look like this. And this is what's considered to be the basic mode. And we actually want to go into advanced user settings. So when you get into your software, you click on user, you go to advanced system user login. And the standard password for all of Novastar's software to get into the advanced settings is 666. So we're going to type in 666. We're going to hit login. You're going to notice that the top screen changes a little bit. Not only does it change a little bit, it opens up some settings once we begin to click through. To really get into our screen configuration, we're going to go to the screen configuration tab. It's going to ask us, how are you talking to the to the controller? We're talking via USB. There is also Ethernet option if you're talking via Ethernet, but we're talking USB today, so we're going to hit next on that. And then it's going to load up the next portion of the software. Once you get into this next portion of the software, the very first tab that I want you to click on is your receiving card tab. Your receiving card is the cards that are inside the video wall that are receiving data. Your sending card is what is inside sending out the data. Now, let me tell you why we're going to receiving card first versus sending card. In pretty much all of our installation systems, we're going to be talking through a controller. The controller is our sending card, and it's pre-calibrated by the manufacturer. We don't need to mess with the sending card. If you were going to be using a sending card that's built into your computer, you're building your own server, then you would need to calibrate your sending card. We're not focused on that because we always use Novastar controllers. So we're going to be looking at only the receiving cards today. When you get into the receiving card information, this portion right here could have any number of settings. And what's really important is to make sure that we are loading the settings that are from the manufacturer. The manufacturer is going to provide an RCFG file. So we want to go to load from file, and we are looking for that receiving card configuration file. In this particular case, I've taken that file and I've downloaded it and put it on my desktop. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to see the file right here. I'm going to click on the file and I'm going to open it. Now, with the video wall, oftentimes that file is given to you on a thumb drive. You want to make sure that you take it off the thumb drive, you put it on your computer instead of loading it directly from the thumb drive. It helps with making sure that if the thumb drive gets pulled, it doesn't get corrupted or anything like that. So you want that file to live. Once it's on your desktop, you can leave it there. You can put it in your documents folder or anything like that. So you've noticed now it says loaded configuration file successfully. And when I click OK, all these settings have changed. 192 by 192 is our pixel panels that we have here today. Depending on what your panel is, that numbers might change, but today's panels are 192 by 192. So I know that I've selected the right file. Then it's also given me the manufacturer recommended refresh rates and data phase rates and clock rates and all that. So if we're using the manufacturer file, we should not need to make adjustments to that, and we have the correct file loaded. Okay. Let me talk a little bit more about the importance of this file. Not only are we taking that file off that thumb drive, but when I hit this, I've loaded it. When I hit send to receiving card, that is going to send the data from my computer to the panels themselves and put the panels effectively in the manufacturer recommended software setting. So I'm going to do that so you can watch the process. I've loaded it to my computer, loaded it into the software. Now I'm just going to hit send to receiving card. It's going to ask me, do you want to send it to all of them? Yes, I want to send it to all of them. And it's going to send that. This is the number one step you should be taking in troubleshooting. If you're having problems with your wall, any problem, you always want to start with making sure that you're sending to the wall the manufacturer engineered RCFG file. If you can't get your wall to turn on, it's all black, send that file. If you've got weird flickers going on, send that file. That's the number one way to make sure you kind of go back to, factory reset before you jump into anything else. So we've sent that file. It says the parameters are sent successfully. We say okay. Now we can go into our screen configuration. Screen configuration is going to be dependent on what screen you're working with. Right in front of me, I've got 6 panels. I'm going to show you something a little bit more complicated though, so you can get an idea of what a larger wall looks like. So I'm going to be referencing a design file that you might see in prints, and you're going to find something that looks like this if you're going to be setting up a file. So we're going to reference that in a moment. But I want to make sure that you understand something important. These files are as if you're looking at the wall. You're in front of the wall and you're looking at it. Sometimes it can get confusing if you are in the field and you're actually behind the wall and you're trying to configure from behind the wall. Always remember that the view that you're looking at is from in front of the wall, not from behind the wall. So I'm going to go to my file right here that we've set up. And this particular wall is going to be irregular shaped. It's not a 16:9 wall. It also has some blacked out corners. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to see something that's a little bit unique. You can then apply all of that data and information to a standard wall, and we can kind of talk through what that looks like. You also see that we have numbers here. Number 1 is going across the top. Number 2 is going across row 2. I did something a little bit weird. Now we're going to row 4. Then we're going to row 5 and row 6. Those numbers correspond to our port number on the back of our controller. So in this particular controller, it has 6 ports. So the designer, in this case, has said, I want port 1 to be at the top. I want port 2 to be at the row 2. We're not going to use port 3. Port 4, we're going to use for this next third row. Port 5, we're using for the half of the bottom, and port 6, we're using the other half of the bottom. On all of Novastar's controllers, they can only support up to 650,000 pixels per port. We don't want to overload a port to where it has more than 650,000 pixels. So we want to make sure that our pixel count is below 650,000. In this particular case, the maximum number of pixels that we need would be in port 2 and port 4. I've done some calculations before the video. That comes out to just over 400,000 pixels on each row, which means we're below 650, which means this configuration is going to work. So we're going to go back into our screen configuration software, and based on the file that you saw there, we have 11 columns and we have 4 rows. So once I put that data in here, this is going to begin to build out what that wall should look like. Okay, I'm going to make this full screen, give my surface a little bit more room to work with, and I still have this file here that I can reference. Now, in this particular case, my 4 corners are blanked out. When I put into my software that I want 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want 11 columns, it's going to give me those corners. So if I was doing a standard wall, you would have the corners right there. But now in our case, we're going to set those corners to blank. So I've got the first one right here highlighted. Over my software, I'm going to say set it to blank. I'm going to do that for each corner. Set to blank. Set to blank. Another thing I want to note is right over here, it's telling me that my panels are 128 by 128, which means that a setting that I set in the previous menu did not carry over. I do want to make sure that it carries over. I'm going to refer to my manufacturer recommendation, which is 192 by 192. I'm going to hold that for a moment so we can make sure that that's correct. All right. So now we go back and we reference this file, and it tells us that on port 1, we want all the panels to flow from, the top. But what's important to note is what direction is the data flowing? When you wired up your wall, you should know what direction your home runs are coming from your controller, and that they're going either left to right or right to left. So while this document shows me what port number I'm using, doesn't tell me which direction the data is flowing, that comes from inside the field. So we're going to assume in this situation that we started our data on the left side of the wall, remember looking at the wall, and that the data is flowing straight across the wall. We go back to our configuration software, and we're going to tell it port 1 is flowing from left to right. Then we reference our document. The next one's going to be port 2. We click on port 2, and port 2 is flowing from left to right. Then reference the document. We're skipping port 3. So port 4 is flowing from left to right. Then it wants 4 panels on port 5 and 5 panels on port 6. So we're going to come back over here. Port 5 is going 1, 2, 3, 4 panels. Port 6 is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. So now we've got this set right, but we still have this mistake of 128 by 128. So I'm going to click on port 1. I'm going to tell it that port 1 is looking at panels that are 192 by 192. And I'm going to apply to the entire section. When I go to port 2, I'm going to hit apply to the same thing. Port 3, I'm going to apply, which we didn't use port 3, which is okay. Port 4, we're going to apply it. Port 5, we're going to apply it. And port 6, we're going to apply it. Now, the last step is assuming that we have our panels wired up correctly, that our software matches the way that the panels are wired, we're going to send to hardware. When we hit send to hardware, it's going to tell our controller over here to send all that data to our wall, and it's going to get our wall to look correct. So we're going to say okay. Now, the purpose of showing you a little bit more complicated wall is so that you can see something that's a little bit more detailed. We're going to bring you back to the wall that you see here. It's going to be a much simpler setup. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to set up and make sure that the wall configuration is correct, and then troubleshoot our wall.